Shalom. Call hello Allah Yahweh by Shema Shah, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people in the world equally call God, Bahashem, in the name of Yahweh Shah, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world equally calls Jesus Christ. Once again, the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son is Yahweh by Shema Shah. Also, shalom to you brothers, you Akim, that's pushing and spreading His word throughout the four corners of the earth. Also uplifting the names Yahweh by Shema Shah. Shalom to you Akim. Shalom also to the Israelite foreigners out there, the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. Though you may look like the heathen nations, you're scattered amongst which the heathen nations are the nations as you see on this chart. The nations starting from 2 on down. In case you didn't know, those are the heathen nations. Also, if your lineage, your bloodline goes back to these people that you see here on this chart through the man, and if his spirit bear witness with his word, this truth, and you can receive it to the speckled bird, man, when the child, this does apply to you. You are Israelites, though you do look like the heathen you're scattered amongst once again, due to the scattering of these people in this chart. So you will have Israelites come looking like the other nations, but they're indeed Israelites because under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, the 15th verse on down, their spirit bear witness with his word, this truth that they are the sons and daughters of Yahweh Bashim Shah. And most importantly, their lineage goes back to these people through the man, no matter what they come looking like. If their father's an Israelite, that makes them an Israelite as well. Also to the few Aqua, few Israelite sisters that do listen, learn, and believe, Shalom. To the elect of the nation Israel, you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth for his words going out to, Shalom to you as well. To so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you combine, consist, and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah. I just wanted to do a response. Just title this "Look at Jake," man. Okay, and what made me want to do this video is if you look at the dude's pants, it's Jake pants. His pants is way below his ass, man. You see, as they say in the world, man. You know.
What's wrong with your dog looking all gangster? What's up, Crip? What's up, Crip? What's that you claim? Do that Crip walk right quick. That ain't no Crip walk. Do the Crip walk right quick. Do the Crip walk, man.
Man, look at his pants, man. And you got Jake talking about what set you claim. You see? Let me get that. Because that's in the scriptures, man. Alright. This is, that's in the scriptures. There's plenty of times where, let me just get it. Alright? You see. This is, Isaiah 20:1. And that's, you know what? It's Isaiah 21. It says, in the year that Tartan came onto Ashdod, when Sargon, the king of Assyria, sent him and fought against Ashdod and took it. At the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amos, saying, go and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from off thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. Right? And the Lord said, like as my servant Isaiah have walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptian prisoners, and the Ethiopians captive, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, the shame of Egypt, man. You see? And real quick, I believe it's Isaiah the 11th chapter. Yep, because it's talking about the Israelites. This is Isaiah 11, right? And 11 it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant, which is his future prophecy, the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the isles of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Okay, so that's what it was going into. But let me read it again. It says, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians prisoners and the Ethiopian captives, which talking about our people at the time. It says, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt, man. So that was a shame, okay, to be uncovered, especially having your buttocks exposed, man. You see? But in this society, dealing with our people in this lower state, Jake, they don't know no shame. Let me get that. You see? Because in this society, that's uplifted. You see? That's cool in this society. And you even have the old folks, the old generation, they ain't down with that either, man. When my parents used to fall low, my peoples would always get on me about that, which I never let, my parents just sag, But you got Jake, that's, they think that's some sort of fashion statement, and in this world it is a fashion statement, which is the sad thing about it, okay? I was at a stoplight one time, and I seen this Jake coming, he was going across the street, as the light was red for us, so he was walking across the crosswalk. This dude was sagging his pants, man. This dude's pants was literally down to his kneecaps. He had dreads, but it goes, let me just type it in. So, saggy pants go back to, because it's for saggy pants, it goes back to multiple things, which, of course, in this, a lot of people, let me just get it. All right. So it says sagging was said to be a symbol that the sagger was sexually available to other prisoners, man. You see? And everybody knows that. That's the first thing, everybody says, was you raped in prison when all the old heads, if you know what I'm talking about, that's the first thing we say. So you go in prison like that, what you think gonna happen? Or alternatively, already taken by another inmate. While several sources claim to be true, others like Snopes tell us that this is just a nasty rumor, which I believe is to be true, to be honest with you. Another purpose, and it says right here, what is the purpose of sagging your pants? It says it later became a symbol of freedom and cultural awareness among some youth, or a symbol of their rejection of the values of mainstream society. It is often claimed the style originated from the United States prison system, where belts are sometimes prohibited and there can be a lack of appropriately sized clothing, which is also true. When I went to jail, this was before I came to the truth. When I got a jumpsuit, the orange jumpsuit, it was way oversized. And that's another reason. But the jumpsuit, some of these jumpsuits at these jails, it's almost interconnected. You see? It's not, some of them you need a belt and some of them you don't. But at the end of the day, Jake turned it into a fashion. And that's the sad thing about it. And really, this is what I wanted. It says why did slaves sag their pants? In researching the practice, it was learned that sagging one's pants was associated with slavery. Male slaves were forbidden to wear belts, causing their pants to sag, making it difficult for them to run. But if you go up there, it said it was a sign of freedom. Well, back in the time when Esau had you in the field, you see, that was a way he could keep his slaves from escaping. If you on a plantation in the broad daylight, you try to take off, your pants will be sagging so low, you'll get caught up, and then you'll fall, and then you'll get caught, man. You see? So it's plenty of things that this goes back to. You see? But Jake don't consider that, man. You see, Jake don't, look up, certain things. But let me get Zephaniah 3 and 5. It says, the just Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. And he's in the midst thereof now. Okay? He's getting ready to destroy this society, man. And this is another reason why he's going to destroy this society. Things like, just bare minimum things like this, man. He outside, middle of nowhere. Look like he around the shopping complex with no shirt on. So says the just Lord is in the midst thereof, he will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light, and judgment is out here. Okay? You can't deny judgment's not out here. The California wildfires, okay, the shootings, okay, the crime is escalating. All that is judgment from on high. Okay? The natural disasters says he faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame, man. You see? Jakes and just people in general, they don't know no shame, man. This is okay in the society. All these people you see driving around, they probably just look at him and just keep driving because it's normal. You see? That's because the unjust know of no shame. Jake don't know no shame. Jake don't understand, the condition or the lower state that we've been placed in. You see? Let me get that. This is Jeremiah 2. Yeah, it's Jeremiah 2. I start all the way up there at 14. It says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? And a majority of people, they claim, we're free. They like to say we're free. We have rights. But in your mind, mentally and spiritually, this man, if you don't have the truth, Esau Edom got you enslaved mentally, man. He got you enslaved mentally. He got you enslaved spiritually. And that's why you got a majority of our people doing this. Okay? Because he still got you in your mind, man. See, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he loves seeing you like this. He loves seeing you, you shooting each other down. He loves seeing you on drugs. He loves seeing you entertain him. You see? And it says, why has he spoiled? The young lions roared upon him and yelled, and they made his land waste. His cities are burned without inhabitant. Also the children of Noth and the Tahpanese have broken the crown of thy head. And that's happened to us now. You see? Let me see what it says for crown. It don't say much here, but let me go to another definition. Wow, it just logged me out. Slakia. Let me just type a crown. Crown symbolization. A crown. A crown is a symbolic headgear that is worn by monarch. Crown represents power, glory, immortality, royalty, and sovereignty, which our people are striving for now. Sovereignty. The only way you're going to get sovereignty is through Yahweh or Yahweh Shah. You're not going to get sovereignty through Esau or the other nations. Okay? Anything outside Yahweh Shema Shah, this is not what you're going to get. But this is what the Heavenly Father is promising us. All we have to do is be obedient, repent, and wait, okay, for salvation. Because salvation is near. You see? This says, it is often made from precious metals and decorated with jewels, having a special headgear that would designate a ruler exist in many civilizations around the world, man. But what happened? We fell from that state. We lost that. I'm gonna get that in Isaiah the 3rd chapter, actually. I'm gonna actually get Jeremiah 17:4, then I'm gonna get Isaiah the 3rd chapter. This is Jeremiah 17:4. Right? It says, actually I started 1. It says, the sin of Judah, you so-called Negroes, the head tribe of all the tribes, is written with a pen of iron, and with this point of a diamond, it is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altar. Because with us being the tribe of Judah, you being the head tribe, it says in Genesis the 49th chapter that all your brethren shall praise you. So meaning they're gonna look to you. So whatever you do, the rest of the tribes is gonna follow, man. You see? And Jake gang bangs with what? The Southern King gang bangs. So what the Northern King do? They gang bang just like the Southern Kingdom. You see? It says, whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills, it says, the mount, O my mountain, in the field, I will give thy subs and all thy treasure to the spoil, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. Okay? And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, which is happening. Okay? America's the land where we know not. We were brought over here on slave ships, as it was prophesied in Deuteronomy 28 and 68. That was one of the curses, one of the main curses, that we would come up to Egypt again with ships. And where did we come to on ships? America, showing you that America is spiritual Egypt. You see? For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. So we pissed the Lord off. Okay? So it got to the point where he said we would discontinue from our heritage. And that's what happened. Why you calling yourself black? That's why you calling yourself Latino. That's why you calling yourself Native American. You calling yourself everything under the sun besides who you are. Okay? But not only did we get taken down when we lost our nationality, we lost everything that came with that. We lost, that crown, royalty, sovereignty. We lost all that. Isaiah 3:1, for behold, the Lord of hosts doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, which the staff represents authority. You see? So the word for staff is Mishana. Says, this definition don't say too much. Let me check this out. Right here it says protector or sustenance. But usually I think that's the scepter. Scepter is authority. Okay? It says the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. It says the mighty man, the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, So these are all the things he's taking away from us. And we lost the mighty man. If you look at the majority of our men, of the men of our nation, from the southern to all the way down to the north king, this is what you see. Okay? This ain't, if you look at this, you wouldn't think of King David. You wouldn't think of Abraham. You wouldn't think of Judas Maccabees, Samson, But that's because we fell from that glory. You see? It says, the captain of 50 and the honorable man and the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. We don't have an army. See, all these nations surrounding us, all our enemies, they have armies. Well-organized armies. But what do we have? Nothing. You see? That's been taken away from us. That's been stripped from us. And it says, I will give their children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Meaning your children will what? Be out of order, man. You see? You wouldn't even be able to control your children. You wouldn't even be able to control what happens to them. And the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor, which you know what that is. Israelite on Israelite crime, man. Whether it's black on black, Latino on Latino, Native American on Native American crime, and Seminole Indian crime. You see? That's what will befall us. It says, and the child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. And all these other nations not going through it, which they're going through it now because the curse had befallen them or starting to befall them. But before this, who was really going through this? Who was really dealing with broken households? Jake is, man. You see? It says, when the man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, thou hast clothing, but be thou a ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. And that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be a healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing, make me not a ruler of the people. And that's the mindset of our people. They've taken in that dog eat dog mentality. that's been fed to them by their oppressors, man. Back in the ancient world, we were all for each other. If you Israelite man saw another Israelite, walking, he had no place to go, no place to shelter, that Israelite man will take him in, even if he didn't know him. But in this society, it doesn't work like that. Well, I don't know him. He not coming in here. You see? That's that evil eye, though. But it says, for Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem outside to provoke the eyes of his glory, man. So he did this to us. You see? We paying the price for our iniquities and for our backsliding. This Jeremiah 2, once again. It says, the 17th verse, it says, Jeremiah 2:17 says, hast thou not procured this unto thyself, and that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy power when he led thee by the way? And now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, to drink the waters of Sihor? Or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river, man? And what have our people drunk? The philosophies of America, man. And what has the philosophies of America done? Like it says in Micah 2:10, arise ye, depart, for this city is polluted, and it will destroy you with a sword destruction. That's what it's done. You trying to be a Babylonian, you try to be an all-American, this is what you get. Talking to our people. This is what you get. You can't make it up. Drunk off the Babylon juice. But it says, where did I pick? Where I leave? It says, the 19th verse says, thy own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backsliding shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that this is an evil thing and bitter, that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy power, and that my fear is not in thee, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. For of old time I have broken thy yokes and burst thy bands, because it's been plenty of times, just go in the book of Judges and all throughout the scriptures, when Jake will go off, the Lord will put us in captivity under the heathen, and our people will cry out, and the Lord will deliver us. But what happened? Jake turned right around and did the same thing over and over and over again, until it got to the point where I just read in Jeremiah 17, chapter the 4th verse, how this time the Lord said, you know what? He's not going to keep doing this. He's not going to keep delivering you, and you keep going off and being rebellious, So he just cut us off for a period of time. That's why it says in the book of Hosea, they shall dwell without a king, or ephah, or a teraphim. You see? It says, and thou sayest, I will not transgress, whereupon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest playing the harlot. And it's still happening right now. Well, I believe in God, but you still eat pork. You see? I believe in God, but you still serving idols. You still committing adultery. You still smoking weed. You still doing this, the madness of this society, man. You still being a Babylonian, a full Babylonian. You see? It says, yet I had planted thee a noble vine. What's the word noble? Get that. The word is Sirach. And it says choice spices of vine, choice grapes. If you look down here, let's just get to the point. It says one yielding purple, and purple is a sign of royalty. You see? The richest variety. Okay? So we were the Lord's noble vine. We were that noble nation at one point, where we were in our right state of mind. But it says a holy a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And the word degenerate says, sir, it says degenerate, probably passive participant, turned off, deteriorated, man. And look at the decades since we've been in this captivity, how our people was, man. How we were when we came over on the slave ships, man. We were unity. We were at unity with each other. You see? Then you come down, to the Civil War, you start getting some more rights. The Jim Crow era, we was even during the time of the Jim Crow era, Jake was still together. You start getting down to the late 60s to 70s, the drugs. Esau started pumping the drugs in the communities, guns, He started, through his media, programming Jake to be a certain way. And that's when you started to see the cracks. That's when you started to see the deterioration. Just go from the 70s, the women's liberation movement, you know, the heroin epidemic, the black heroin, so-called black heroin epidemic, the crack epidemic. Then you go down from the 90s to the 2000s. Now look, Jake in the LGBTQ community, you know, Jake with rainbow colored hair, tattoos all over their face. So you can't make this up. Our people have literally become that degenerate plant. You see? It says, for though thou wash thee with niter, and what you being washed with? This word, man. The scriptures call this word the living waters. But they rejected it. It says, and take thee much soap. Yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Lord Yahweh. How canst thou say, I am not polluted? I have not gone after Baalim. See thy way in the valley. Know that what thou hast done, that thou art a swift dromedary transversing their ways. A wild ass shoots to the wilderness, that snuffeth up to the wind at her pleasure, and in her occasion, who can turn her away? All that seek her will not worry themselves. In her month, they shall find her. It says, withhold thy foot from being unshod, and thy throat from thirst. But thou says, there is no hope. You look at this word like it's vain. You look at the name Yahweh Yahushua as vain. This word, man. You think this is really a joke, and you think the world is more important, man. Well, you're going to find it out real soon that that's not the case, man. That this world was really unimportant. Yahweh Shema Shai was the way, man. This world is death, man. Confusion, then death. Says, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. So you love Esau and the other nations, man. You love the different philosophies. Okay, you love acting like a heathen. You see? As the thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they had turned their back unto me, and not their face, but in the time of their trouble will they say, arise and save us. And that's what's getting ready to happen. When Jacob's trouble happened, you got all these people that's about to get evicted and lose everything, and then Esau's going to come down with his wrath. That's when they're going to want to deal with Yahweh Shema Shai. That's when they're going to want to be saved. That's when they're going to want to acknowledge that they are Israelite. But it's going to be too late. Okay, it's going to be way too late, man. You had your time, but you chose to what? Indulge in folly. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get caught off guard. It's going to punch you in the face. Reality's going to punch you in the face. It says, but where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise that they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the number of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah. Wherefore will ye plead with me? Ye have all transgressed against me, saith the Lord Yahweh. In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction. All these kids you see getting hit by stray bullets, getting ran over, or getting kidnapped, that's the Lord doing it. But our people still don't get it. You see? They still don't get it. Your own sword have devoured your prophets like a destroying lion. Because our people are prophet killers. A majority of these people, these Israelites that you see that can't get the truth or reject the truth, were the same ones back then. They were killing the prophets, man. Because they didn't like what was being said about them. And they're back today. But they're going to receive their judgment this time. Because the Lord's not going to allow, his prophets to keep getting slaughtered, man. It says, O generation, see ye the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel, a land of darkness? Wherefore say my people, we are lords. We will come no more unto thee. Our people like to call themselves kings and, queens. Was queen is really a prostitute. We had princesses. But that's another way our people are drunk off that. But we tell you, you are gods, and on the earth, and that you have a power. That's the real power. You reject that. You see? Hypocrites. This is why I'm gonna get this, because I gotta go back inside. I'm late. This is Zechariah 13 and 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left there, and the third is the remnant, the 1/3. Okay, that's going to repent, and that's going to lean upon Yahweh Shema Shai. The rest of our people that don't want to deal with Yahweh Shema Shai, you're just going to get thrust through with the sword, man. You're going to be put to death. Okay? And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is my power. But eventually, on this side is going to be the elect, and the 1/3, You know, the great multitude. But then when we're in the kingdom, all of Israel is going to be in their right mindset. Okay? So, in Romans 11 to 26 chapter. Okay, the 11th chapter, 26th verse, Salakia. So, call hello Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Shah. Yahweh Ratazah, this was edifying. Baba Kashah, Baba Ba, Baba Ba, Abba Ha Ayapya, Abba Ha Ayapya. Shalom to the elect and to the few, Aqua, that do listen, learn, and believe. Shalom.